nuisance. With
Thank
me
you
today,
for doing that on yourself.
yeah, with me today, as always, the one and only Marissa Garza. Marissa, you good?
I am so good. I am so good. Jason, you good?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good. Good.
Listen, I've been called attractive nuisance more than once in my life. So I very much took heart to when they were calling the pools in this episode an attractive nuisance. um, yes, here we are, about midway through season 4. I think
Yeah.
we are cooking on the good pod. It just feels like no time at all that we're already like halfway through, more than halfway through at this point, the series of The Good Wife.
We are moving and grooving.
And grooving. We had a very interesting episode here. We had a return that I did not think we would get.
Oh, she's back.
She's back,
And
y'all.
yeah, we had 2 returns in this episode, actually.
Well, yeah, technically, yeah. So before we get into all the good stuff about this episode, all the things that are happening, we want to remind you of some free and easy ways you can help this podcast. You can do that by rating, reviewing, and subscribing wherever it is you are watching and are listening. It helps to get into the eyes and ears of more listeners and more people that would enjoy this content like you all. Shout out to Tova, one of our very loyal listeners who on the old post show recaps where me and Marissa got our start on that Discord, which I am still I'm still
I am there in spirit because I'm overwhelmed by the number of places the internet has.
Yes. So I still frequent there, and Tova as well, who's also a part of that Discord, frequents there. And Tova on the Good Pod Discord, because I have our own little space over there because we are post show recap alums. They decided to give us a little thing about our
nice.
podcast. Tova there revealed that in her, was it Spotify Wrapped?
I think so. Yeah,
it was either Spotify or the YouTube stuff, that all the end of year things that show you which podcasts you listen to the most. We are number 1 in Tova's list. So shout out to you, Tova. Thank you for being a loyal listener, watcher, all those things. We really, really appreciate it. Tova does also talk about our podcast in that Good Pod feed.
Okay.
So very, very loyal listener over there.
Yes. And let me just shout out the PR peeps. PSR peeps. I don't mean to not be there. Like I said, I got overwhelmed. But if you tag me, I will appear. If you tag me, please, I will be there. But you're always in my heart, and we would not be here without you. So thank you so much.
100%. So yeah, you gotta like, rate, subscribe, all those great things that you can do to help out this podcast. You can also, if you choose to do so, you can go over to buymeacoffee.com/goodpod and donate sums large and small to us. We would really appreciate that. You can also email us at thegoodpodfeedback@gmail.com if you want to chop it up with us about any and everything. We'd love to hear from you. Now that's out of the way, let's get into the episode, Marissa.
All right, Jason. Before we really dig into it, I just want to put some context around what most of this case was about. This is known as West Nile virus. Around this time, Jason, we were talking pre-pod. This was a nationwide thing. Like, people knew about West Nile virus. West Nile virus is transmitted by mosquitoes. It can cause like nervous system damage, a bunch of stuff. It's not just like the flu. It's like a thing that can happen. Not good. In the Chicagoland area, we have not outgrown our West Nile awareness. This is definitely something that is still going on, but at the time it was definitely it was pre-COVID, right? So we had no experience with a spreading of disease of any sorts, or we did have some like Ebola and mad cow stuff back in the day, but
well, I mean, we've had pandemics throughout
history
of the world. Yes,
of course, but like that we were alive for
in our lifetimes. Yes.
So West Nile, like being outside with mosquitoes, is very kind of a conscious thing. So like it's very exhausting to be a Midwesterner. Let me tell you, you have to worry about the sun, you have to worry about the mosquitoes, you have to worry about the snow, but we love it. So
and the crime, Marissa, don't forget about the crime that's in your area.
How could I forget? I mean, there's so much of it.
Don't forget about the murder.
Anyway, okay. In this episode, we have a teenager who got West Nile. from an abandoned pool of a foreclosed home. This is also setting the time of the housing bubble burst, foreclosures. Foreclosures also a big thing that was going on at this time. But basically, the bank took over the house, foreclosed on the house, and let water go stagnant in the pool. And so this teenager was by the pool, got bit by a mosquito, got West Nile. This what our team, Lockhart Gardner, being helmed in this case by Will and Carrie. Carrie doing a lot of the work here. It was really, great to see. It's kind of just saying like, well, you owned the house, bank, so it is your responsibility that this kid got West Nile virus, because you could not escape any PSA about standing water in the state of Illinois at this time. Like, it was, you could put this in, like, if you have standing water, put this in the standing water to kill all the mosquitoes, do all this. Like, people knew how to handle this.
I don't know what it was, but I think at the time of West Nile, I just wasn't aware in my life, like to really see it as the threat it was.
Well, like, if you don't own a house, or you weren't, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's something I was aware of because my parents were dealing with it. It wasn't something that I personally was.
Yeah. I guess I
dealing with it all the time.
I knew what West Nile was. I was hearing the name West Nile virus. I never took it seriously. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know what I was doing at the time. So I was just
Wear your bug repellent, okay?
Yeah, for sure. I wasn't like putting on extra bug repellent to be like, let me make sure I don't get West Nile virus. It was just a thing that was being talked about and heard. I think I was just like a kind of like a dumb kid.
Like, it's like one of those things that's around but not prevalent enough that, like, it's not like I don't know some people that I know could have had West Nile virus or have suffered from, but it's not something that I know personally. Right. So it's kind of like that thing with COVID, where COVID doesn't affect you until it's like right in front of you. And even now people don't think it's around, but it's still around. Like, right. It's still there, very active, doing its thing. So
yes. These banks are being blamed because these closes were foreclosed on, and the banks did not take the proper steps and measures to like clean out the pools, make sure the pools
right. There was a lot of
these standing water.
Yeah, they just claim to the money. And the CDC, okay, also, boys and girls, back in the time before 2025, there was an organization in the government called the Center for Disease Control. And what they did was control diseases, much like this. So because this had to do with West Nile virus, they would actually send people out to examine the situation and see if the mosquitoes from this very pool were responsible for West Nile. If this were to happen in 2025 or beyond, unsure what would be there. But I kind of look at this as like an artifact of the times.
Like, yeah, Marissa, you're just being so ridiculous. You're being so woke. You have to worry about like all of this. Just make sure you're not taking Tylenol, and you will be fine.
Too late. Too late.
Fine, Marissa. Like, you're being silly. You're being silly. Just make sure you don't take Tylenol. You'll be just fine. You'll be all right.
I have had all my vaccines, so there's double work. I know.
Vaccines, pish posh. Vaccines, vaccines. Is kind of the view of the current administration.
Like the what? The who? What? Can we make money off of it? No.
I was surprised they would put out like marketing to that effect. Vaccine, smaxine.
Who's smaxine? Anyway. Yeah, so the CDC is like, hey, it did come from here. It is the bank's fault. And the people around, the neighbors, wrote a letter to the bank or to the bank president, basically saying like, hey, you've let these houses basically decline in conditions. It's not very safe for our neighborhood and for our home. And in this first deposition, the lawyers on the other side are like, yeah, okay, whatever. But we find out that they are going to depose the bank president, whose name is Wilkes Ingersoll, who we see a little bit later. He's played by James Rebhorn. And Jason, This was a sad research project.
Yeah, because James Rebhorn is, another like very like infamous character actor. You've seen him in 1,000 things, but you can never really place where he's from. I did remember him as the father of Carrie in Homeland. That's what I was like. That's where I placed him. But then looking him up, we did find out that actually, like, I think shortly after this episode probably
Like
aired, maybe like a year or
years
so
or
after.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, he passed away from melanoma, which
Oh,
is
a full year. Like this episode aired January 6th, 2013.
yeah, so a full year after this episode aired, he passed away from melanoma, which is interesting given the fate of this character, as we'll
Yes.
talk about as we get further down the line here. But did you also notice that we had on the other side of the
Yes.
deposition, we had back Martha here from Martha and Caitlin
Yes.
many eons ago, and we did meet Martha a few episodes after the whole Martha
Oh,
Caitlin debacle. She was on Lewis Canning's side. So I guess we should have realized
I
who else.
didn't.
I didn't either. I actually should have realized who else we're going to meet in this episode that Alicia is getting ready to meet as we are in our story.
No, but Martha was on it. Like Martha
Mhm.
was on her game. She really brought her A game. She really like was there.
I
But yes, I didn't put that together until after the reveal of who Alicia's sees, which we'll talk about, which you already know. It's Lewis Canning. So but and then I was like, oh yeah, she was there.
Mhm. Yeah.
So they did a
And
good job with that.
I really wish. I think it was a wasted opportunity for Alicia and Martha to meet back up, and for Martha to be like, "Oh, hey, so where's Caitlin?"
Yeah.
and,
Yeah, for sure.
at least you're like, "Well, Caitlin decided that I would rather have a family and start a family than be a
Yeah.
lawyer." And for Martha to be like, "Oh, interesting. Chose her over me, and look who's still a lawyer." Like, I think that was a kind of a wasted moment here.
Yes, agreed. Agreed. So Alicia is out in Minnesota waiting for this deposition because she's going to depose Wilkes Ingersoll about this letter, basically. Like get if she can get this guy to lie that he either received the letter, never read something, get him to lie, this case is in the bag. And I'm so glad that they said that she was in Minnesota because I was like, there are way too many hills for this to be Illinois. Don't even try it. So she's up there. She's like, it's so quiet. But then she meets who is representing Ingersoll, and it is none other than Lewis Canning. And he's like, hey, buddy, old pal, how's that bankruptcy going?
Yeah, Lewis Canning in his like Lewis Canning way is like it's when the devil appears. Almost it feels like it's like I'm back, here I am, Lewis Canning. And I love Alicia's like reaction. She's like, "Oh, you seem to be everywhere I turn, freaking Lewis Canning. Here you are again."
Yeah, what I like about this like rivalry of sorts is there is like a genuine respect between the two of them, but there's also like an I can outsmart you because their whole relationship started by Canning kind of conning Alicia. So she's been on the back foot, like trying to get back at him this entire time. So she has that. But at the same time, Lewis Canning helped when Grace was missing. Like it's very confusing. It's a confusing
Help to his own benefit.
to his own benefit.
He still
Agreed.
found a way
Yeah,
to
he's a little
make
bit of
it
a weasel.
make it advantageous for him while helping Alicia. And this is one of the like longer standing like rivalries we've had in the show.
Yes.
Where as you mentioned, when Alicia first meets Lewis, he gets one on her every time. And now it's very much a like, I see you, Lewis Canning. I see who you are. And even though there is that, Alicia will still get taken for a ride in this episode at one point.
Well, she does. Well, yes. We'll get okay. So
She still falls for his stuff every now and then, but she knows to be on the lookout for Lewis Canning. I love the like because when Alicia gets around these people she's met many times, including like a Colin Sweeney, it's like she has no time for these losers. She's like, I know what you're about.
oh
Like,
yeah.
you're not gonna get one on me. She doesn't do the sweet Alicia voice. She doesn't do like that.
No.
She's no nonsense with these jokers that she knows like this.
Very business. she starts
Mhm.
this whole thing off with saying, okay, we got 3 hours. And Lewis Kennedy like, yeah, Mr. Ingersoll is really busy, man. So he can only give you 3 hours. She's like, okay, but the judge also said that it has to be 3 hours. So it's going to be 3 hours. And the judge is going to be on call for any objections. Cool. Great.
I love that. Like, all right, so 3 hours. He's like, she's like 3 hours from when he sits in this chair, and Lewis Kane's like, no, 3 hours from when he enters the door. And it's like, what? Lewis is like, why are we arguing over these petty things? She's like, you're right. So
When
therefore,
he
it's when he
sits
sits in the
down.
chair. Well, you don't care,
Yes.
right? Okay, so it's when he's in the chair. Cool.
Yes.
So I just that was again more of like the repartee between Alicia and Lewis.
Yes. Ingersoll finally shows up to this deposition. The homeowners he's like, before we get started, I just want to like make a statement. Homeowners are underwater, and like I totally get it, but the banks are not the bad guys, okay? Like, we don't want to use this also to advance any political standing or anything. And it was just kind of like, okay, but we're in it, so we can't really do that. But also, you're being sued for $15 million, which is now at 13 based on how discussions have been going. And we have a ballerina dancer who can't dance anymore. Like, so what are we going to do about that?
And I loved Ingersoll's like what you mentioned about him being like these poor homeowners. Like it was such picture perfect note of like billionaire president of a bank trying to like relate with the smaller people and what their PR has like written out for him to say. Like it was picture perfect note of like,
yes,
this guy doesn't even know what the cost of bread is, right? Like he doesn't.
right.
He's trying to relate, but he like it's obviously like a show.
And he wanted to get this on the record, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
This is something that he wanted to get on the record. So Alicia goes in, did you know about this letter? He's like, whoa, not like at this time, like, did you know about this letter? He's like, oh, wait, what's that? Emergency text message. Gotta go. Bye.
Very much look over there. It's like as I ditch you, like before I answer this very important question that this whole thing hinges on. Oh, yeah, actually, I got it. Yep. Nope. Don't have time to say yes or no. It's so urgent that I don't have time to answer this one question that would take one word for me. Sorry, nope, gotta go. He like gets up and yeets out of there.
He does, but before he leaves, he's like, "Don't worry, like I'll be back at 2. You're gonna get your time. Like I'm so dedicated to this, but there's also an emergency." And like earlier in the conversation, he's just like, "What does he have to get back to his working vacation of chopping wood?" And like like he's not really doing anything that important apparently. So lo and behold, Ingersoll did not show up at 2 p.m. later that day. So Liz Canning's like, oh yeah, okay, well, he'll be there at 10, and he's not even gonna like take the 10 minutes that we already talked into consideration. She really enjoyed his time, he's really gonna be here, all of this stuff. And Alicia's like, okay, well, let me just get on the record that he refused to show up again. And Kenny's like, oh, don't worry about it though. It'll give you time to read this CDC report that says that there were mosquitoes in a koi pond, so it didn't have to come from the swimming pool. It could have come from them. She relays this back to the firm, and Diane and Will, who of course really want to get the settlement because we still have that debt that we're coming up on. Like, you're gonna have to outweight this guy. Like, he's gonna try to put like a note on your door and say, hey, sorry we can't make it, like you gotta be wherever. And we just like, I was only supposed to be here at night. They're like, don't worry, we'll get clothes and incidentals to you. Just for geography's sake, it is more than an 8-hour drive from Chicago to, well, it depends on where in Minneapolis or Minnesota, but if someone was driving, like maybe later in the episode, I don't know, but flying, it's a lot. It's only like an hour. Okay. So, yes, that's what we got going on.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think it's very like it's definitely a Lewis Canning thing to be like, I'm gonna wait until she like leaves the room, and then I'm gonna run over, be like, oh, you weren't here, so I guess we were ready and you weren't, so I guess that gets us out of our obligation. And I do love when the running gag of this episode is Lewis Canning taking these phone calls in the business center, be like, oh, he has to late again. Like it's going to be like a running thing throughout the episode.
Yes. And Alicia's like, okay, well, if I'm going to be here, I'm going to go to the hotel. This doesn't even like look like a hotel. This is definitely a rich people hotel. Definitely like some sort of spa sort of thing. But she goes to the hotel store and she meets someone. She's like, oh, what a nice other human being who is a woman who we have seen before.
Yep.
who is Lewis Canning's wife. But she's like, while she's having conversation with Simone, she's like, gotta go, because the little Lewis Canning like going up to her door and like, hey Lewis, I'm here. What's up? Were you trying to do anything?
Important to note that Alicia at this moment does not know
Correct.
that she's talking to Mrs. Lewis Canning. We know because we remember when Kalinda met Simone back in like season 1 or 2, when she was like snooping around Lewis Canning's house. When we first met Lewis, we were trying to figure out what the heck this guy is about, and we met her way back when. And so I was kind of shocked that she was here, and she's just like making nice with Alicia. Now we can talk about later what Simone's like, what her culpability is in all this. But this is the opportunity for Lewis to try and catch Alicia not at her cabin, and Alicia like spies him outside the window, like goes running to go meet with Lewis.
Like she drops her stuff. Like she's like, I am out of here. It's like, no, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Like, let's go do this. Guess what, Jason? We're delayed again.
What? Get out of here. Get out of town.
What? And this is where Lewis Canning decides, I know what we'll do. I need to like talk to Alicia. So I'm going to tell her that my friend is dying. And he sent me an email to write his eulogy. Did you ever give a eulogy? She's like, yeah, to my dad. Oh, I didn't mean to like talk about it or whatever. Oh, but guess what? Like, he's still not going to be here.
Yeah. And this is, you know, interesting. You would think Alicia, knowing who she's dealing with, would have like picked this up immediately, but she doesn't. She kind of falls for it. He kind of like, and this is Lewis's way, I guess, of like getting her off her game by like trying to make her sad about talking about someone's funeral, because he's just like, oh yeah, you know, I gotta give a eulogy. You can tell Alicia's like taken aback by this. She's like, yeah, I had to give a funeral for my dad. We get a little like, I feel like this is the first time we've really heard about Alicia's dad and what happened with Alicia's dad. He passed away at like 60 years old. Just pretty young, and she reveals she gave the eulogy, and she turns away from Lewis and gets like, she's getting a little emotional. She's like, oh, did I upset you? She's like, no, not at all. What are you talking about? And so yeah, it's another one of like Lewis's like dirty tactics.
Yes, yeah, agreed. So Alicia's new friend Simone, who she doesn't know is Simone yet, still brings the stuff that Alicia had dropped on the floor to her room. She's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Why are you here? Oh, I'm here for a law case. Oh, my husband's here for a work law case thing. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. It's just like, oh, it's you. And someone's like, yeah, it talks about you all the time. I was like, even getting jealous. Like, oh my gosh, we should have breakfast. We should be friends. And Alicia's like, hey, Simone, so sorry to hear about your husband's friend who's dying. And Simone's like, huh, what? Who? And she's like, what? And Alicia's like, oh, I must have been mistaken.
Yeah, because I think at this time Alicia's thought about it. She's like, this could be a Lewis Canning trick. Let me test this to see if this is a Lewis Canning trick. Oh yeah, it's a Lewis Canning trick for sure. I did love the like Simone of it all, because I feel like there probably were some viewers at the time that didn't remember that this was Mrs. Canning. So that like semi-reveal for people that didn't remember, it was like, oh, interesting. And so it also makes you wonder about like, was Simone in on this with Canning? Did she like,
well, yeah,
like, hey, she's like at the store, like go do it now.
Well, and at this, like, even in this conversation, she says, we're going to be here a while, so we should have breakfast. And Alicia's like, are we going to be here for a while? And someone's like, I don't know anything.
Exactly. I hope at some point in the future we find out that Simone is just as cutthroat as her husband is, because so far from when we met Simone, it's been very like, she's just this like really nice wife of Lewis Canning, and she has no idea what her husband does,
like for her own safety. I hope she's as cunning as
Lewis Canning. Yeah, she has no idea how underhanded her husband is, but I hope we find out one day that she is just as like devious as Lewis is.
Agreed. Meanwhile, back in Chicago land, definitely not Chicago proper, Kalinda found out that the mosquitoes from the koi pond that Lewis Canning's people are saying are the mosquitoes that cause the West Nile can't even carry West Nile virus. Like, they are incapable of doing it, but the ones in the swimming pool are. So back to Minnesota, we're doing more waiting for Wilkes. He's not showing up. And it was just like, hey, we got time. Why don't you like call your friend who's dying? Like, maybe he's dead. Like, maybe you want to call your wife to see if he could like help you with the eulogy. Canning's like, oh, okay. You met my wife.
Yeah, and I was like, I was wondering, like, is this going to be a case where like Lewis was actually telling the truth and like his friend is dying and Alicia is kind of insensitive at this point? But no, we find out it was definitely a lie, and it was like kind of like messes up to like, yeah, I lied. I was just trying to connect with you. What's the problem? It's like,
yeah, it's just like, how could such a nice woman like Simone fall for a bastard like you? And then like Lewis Canning's like, women like bastards. That's all of the stories. And I'm like, he has a point.
listen, he might as well just like point it to Alicia.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Women like bastards. I mean, look at you.
For
look
sure.
at your husband, right?
For sure. Definitely king of the bastards in this universe, for sure. Yeah. So it's like, okay, we're gonna do 10. We'll do 10 a.m. again. Like, seriously, he's gonna show up. He's gonna show up. And Alicia's like, great, that'll give you time, Lewis, to read this CDC report that says that the mosquitoes from the koi pond couldn't carry West Nile virus. Like, okay, hold on, let me get on the phone. So he calls his team in Chicago, and they depose the teenager Kaley. And like in a very clear argument by Martha, she's like, okay, do you know what this type of mosquito is? Like very like laying out like this type of mosquito that can carry West Nile virus. Okay, cool. And do you see the pool and the fence, like the property line? How much space is between there, and how much? Like, yeah, I see that. Okay, cool. Well, did you know that these mosquitoes that carry West Nile virus? And Will's like, okay, so you're saying the mosquitoes came from the pool, right? Like, well, let's get that on record. It's like these mosquitoes can only fly about 50 feet. And the space between the pool and the property line is at least 40 feet. So there is no way that a mosquito could fly from the pool into your yard and can contract you with West Nile virus, unless you hop the fence. If you hop the fence, then that's trespassing, and we are not held liable at all.
Yeah. So that was interesting because our people have kind of hoisted themselves on their own petard in a manner of speaking, because they called attention to the specific mosquito. So this let the opposition say, okay, let's research this mosquito and what it does, what it can do, what it can't do. It's like, oh, turns out that because you guys called attention to what kind of mosquito it was, we found out this mosquito could not have possibly flown to you to get you this virus. So obviously you had to go to the mosquitoes.
And then she's like, hey, Kaley, you can't lie here. Like, I just want to let you know. So she does admit that this was a thing that happened. So, okay. And the team is like, you see like
they know what's coming.
They're like, okay. So Carrie's like, all right, fine. So she climbed the pool. But also, like, wasn't this a pool that had like a waterfall and a grotto and a slide and like all of this stuff? Did you like board any of this up? Did you like make sure it wasn't attractive to kids in any way? Like the grotto is being used by skateboarders, like people were taking over this pool regardless. But did you do anything, fence it off, anything at all to prevent this from happening? And they're like, no, not really. So this is a case of an attractive nuisance where the liability falls on the people who are not making a dangerous situation seem not exciting, not attractive to people.
People tried to board me up, tried to keep me indoors.
Okay.
But it was no use. My wife fell for the attractive nuisance. And here I am today with my wife, who I think if you asked her would say that I was an attractive nuisance.
I do love sometimes when these like legal terms are fun like that. Like attractive nuisance is fun. Like that's a good one.
That's a fun word. It's a fun term, I'll say. But I mean, I thought the argument was a little weak. Of like,
oh, it is. That's why Martha counters with saying like, okay, Kaley, like, do you know right from wrong? Basically, like like you didn't have to go over the fence, right? Like you chose to do that. That was something you weren't coerced into doing that. So we're not going to negotiate with you any longer. We're going to go to trial.
But I thought it was interesting because we find out earlier from Alicia that they've been trying to nail down Ingersoll for 14 months. It's been over a year. So
Yes.
at the time, Kaley was like 12 years old ish, like, right? So I think you could argue, like, I mean, now she can answer these things
Right.
in this manner, but who knows what it was like when she was 12? Because Will and Carrie tried to argue that, like, well, Kaley, yeah, she was 12, but she was like a sheltered 12. Like so, if I was Kaley, I'd be like, excuse me? Like, what are you trying to say about me? That I'm just like a dumb kid? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, and then it was like earlier, all of this like patronizing stuff of like Will was like, "You doing okay, Kaley? You doing
Yeah.
all right?" And then also Carrie was like, "You don't have to talk to my client like that. She's like 18 years old or whatever. Like she's an adult. You don't have to like
Well, she's
play
she's
kids at her
she's 14.
or
It's just
whatever.
like
However, it's just like she's smart.
she's not 8, she's 14.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like what, but that argument was kind of used against her. Like, well,
yes,
she's 14, not 8, right? Like you said, so she knows right from wrong. It's like, well, actually, she was very sheltered. She's like, it's like so like she's underdeveloped. It's okay. Like it's just, she's dumb.
yeah. So the strategy here in Chicago, at least, is not working. Like
Falling apart. Yeah,
the Will and Carrie versus Martha, not working.
yeah. Because
So
Martha's
Carrie,
like, I was like, all right, so we'll just go to court then. Is that
yeah,
what y'all
that's
want?
it.
Y'all want to
Yeah.
go to court? We'll go to court. All right. And they're like, oh crap, we can't take this to court. We need this money.
So Carrie brings up that there's a merger involved with this bank, and something's got to be going on where they don't want this to affect the merger.
So that's why
At the,
we're stalling. Yeah.
yeah. At the same time, Alicia's like, okay, let me see if I can find out why we're stalling. Hey, oh, is it 10 a.m.? And oh, is Ingersoll not here yet? Guess what? We have time to depose some other people. Hey, Rita from housekeeping, you want to come in here for a minute? Did you overhear Lewis Canning's conversation this morning? Yeah. Oh, okay. What did he say? It's like, I'll call you when Florix stops out.
Yeah,
Like,
this is
okay.
wild. This is wild of Alicia to do. I mean, it really does show some very good like cunning and some very like good like thought process. But I thought she got rather lucky with
For sure.
with what was revealed. Because I mean, how would she know that her housekeeper was like listening to Lewis Canning's like conversation? It's like,
Well,
wow,
she had to have been doing some sort of Kalinda impersonation while she was, because she
yeah,
also gets Ed from the front desk to say, well, early in the episode, it's noted that there's no cell phone coverage. So she gets an audit of the calls that were made from Lewis Canning's room.
it's very
And
much Chekhov's cell phone coverage, lack of cell
yes,
phone coverage.
yes, yeah. And Lewis Canning's like, oh, I was calling like my team back in Chicago. Like that's what I was doing. Oh, hey, Ed, did any of those calls go to Chicago? No, they didn't. Cool. So Canning's like pissed at this point. Like he gets up, he's like ready to walk off, and Alicia's like, "Oh, do you want to leave? Because I'm going to call the judge, and if you're not here, you're going to be held in contempt for in absentia, which is a fancy way of saying not being here." And the judge is like such the parent in the situation, like, "Yeah, you got to get your client here at 10 in the morning tomorrow. If he's not here, you're going to be held in contempt. Do you understand?" And was like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
Okay.
the judge is very much the parental figure of like, I'll call the judge. you don't want to mess around. I'm gonna call the judge because Alicia threatens this multiple times
Yes.
in the episode of like, let it be shown that Ingersoll will not show up again. And she also tells Kenny, you want me to call the judge, do you? Because the judge is not happy that you keep stalling this case. This case has been on the judge's docket for over a year. So the judge wants this done now and today. The judge told you clean your room. You better have your room clean by 5 p.m. or look, the judge is going to be real mad at you. You're going to get detention,
Like
aka held in contempt.
you don't want the judge to be mad at you, do you? At this point, Kalinda shows up with with clothes for Alicia and wine. Again, how she got there, don't know. Teleportation, maybe. And they both have this like reflection, like it's quiet. And Alicia's like, yeah, it is quiet. And Kalinda's like, it's so quiet, I'd kill someone. And I'm like, okay. And Alicia is reflecting on the fact that it was quiet before she started going back to work and she would have a drink every day at 3. And Clint is like, I miss this. And Alicia's like, and Clint is like, I'm sorry. She's like, I know. So it's still like not 100% back together, but maybe we're making strides.
It was such an interesting like revisit because I didn't know that we still needed a revisit to this, and I was like, oh, we're still like this is still a thing between y'all because we've seen their relationship kind of repair a little bit, so much so they're still meeting out for drinks now. To talk about the real life of it all, I'm still waiting for the big break, right? Because we've been talking about this for as long as this show has been in existence. Our show has been in existence about this like big break? Like, when is the break going to happen between them? And they're still together now. I was wondering in this wide shot with Alicia
Uh-huh.
on one bed and Kalinda on the other bed, very far apart. And from what we know of shenanigans happening with filming,
Well, and even when she opens the door,
yeah,
like she's on one side, the other, like they're not in the same shot together except for on the bed.
right. And I'm
Uh,
wondering, like, in these bed shots, was there some editing magic? This could be just our brains work because of what we know working to make things true. We don't know. There was another moment later that you talk about where Clint is on the phone with Will and Diane, and we see Alicia like back turned, getting her like
mhm.
coat on. One moment was like, that's not Juliana Margulies, I bet. Then she turned around, it was Juliana Margulies. I was like, okay, my brain just keeps messing with me. But I did wonder, because like this would be a very easy shot to fake
Yes.
through editing magic.
Yes, agreed. And then I don't know why it takes Kalinda being there for this to come up, but Kalinda's like, hey, maybe we should check out the number that was
Well, I mean, it's Kalinda. That's what Kalinda does,
sure,
right?
but I mean, like, I think that because Alicia's like, why? What do you want to like? It's so obvious. Like, just see what these numbers are. So she finds out that the number there was a number to a cancer treatment center, and unfortunately, Mr. Ingersoll has non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. It's not public knowledge, and they don't obviously want this to come out before the merger. Unfortunately for Ingersoll, this is also a crime. So when he waits, we're waiting again. He finally shows up. And she's like, "How are you feeling today?" Ingersoll's like, "Wait, why? What's up with that?" Like, "Oh, just asking, just asking." Okay, like, what about this residence letter? It's like, "Oh, if I read every letter that came to me, I wouldn't be able to shower or shave."
Which you know, when he did it earlier in the episode too, when he makes this stupid corny joke, all of his like
Yeah.
underlings are like, wasn't that funny, guys? Like,
Even
wasn't that
Canning,
funny? Yeah,
even
yeah.
Canning.
We know Canning's not below kneecap sucking to
Yes,
who he needs kneecap suck up to.
agreed. And so after that, Alicia just goes right in with it. She's like, "Are you aware that it's an SEC violation to hide illness from your stakeholders?" And it's like, "Objection! This is beneath you, Alicia." She's like, "Unfortunately, because it's you. Unfortunately, it's not, Louis Canning. Unfortunately, it's not." And then she asks, I thought this was great. She's like, "Hey, court reporter, can you leave the room?" And the court reporter gets up and is like, "My name is Mika."
And to me, it was like, ooh, Alicia getting called out a little bit, because like Mika's like, listen, I've been here with you every
Well,
time.
I'm here too. Like, this is
Yeah,
happening to me too.
I'm not some unnamed person. I'm also
Yes.
being like jerked around here, because every time
Yes.
y'all have to come here, I have to come here too. So like,
Yes.
treat me as a person. Like I was like, oh snap. She's like, my name's Mika. You haven't talked to me whatsoever. You just treat me like I'm just the court reporter. But it's been the three of us in this room, and it's not just you and Canning. It's me, you and Canning. I'm a person too, damn it, and I'm Mika.
Yeah. Well, and I think that honestly, if I was a court stenographer, I would have been standing up in like my living room or something. Like, shout out to the craft. Like, I don't
We're
know.
people too. We're
Yes.
people
Like,
too.
have you ever seen, like, I knew someone who's studying to be a court stenographer, and the way, like, there's not that many buttons on their keyboard, and the way that they have to put together things so quickly, like, it's a
Really?
totally
It's
really
not a
interesting
regular
skill.
keyboard?
No, it's like it's only got like 6 or 8 buttons on it, and then,
Yo,
like, the combination of that, is what creates the words.
it's funny that like this comes up right now. I don't know if you're watching Amazing Race right now or not.
Oh, no, I'm behind,
Okay.
but you can talk
So
about it.
this week on Amazing Race, there was a task where they had to they had to type something in Braille.
Oh,
And
yeah,
the way that is done is what you're kind of
with,
describing
like,
is,
6 different dots.
yes, 6 buttons. There are 6 buttons on the typewriter that you have to hit in combination to type
Yes.
something out in Braille. So that's like just a really interesting moment in my life of like a kismet type of thing. Again, we are the main characters in this,
Yes,
and everything else is a simulation.
yes.
So it's just interesting that those things came up at the same time. I just wanted to point it out. And
Yeah, no,
for
I
those that
think, like,
also watch The Amazing Race and are listening to our podcast, it's just really interesting.
yeah, I think that the technology is the same, and also randomly in the second grade, some sort of like they were like invent something that would make the world better for the future. I was like, we need a braille keyboard, and then I was like, oh, they already did that.
Yeah, but listen, court stenographer, is it's still a thing? I feel like that's a
It's totally
that
still a thing.
that's a job AI is gonna come for, like, real
Well,
soon, I think.
but I think there's still something in the human like trust thing that's
Mhm.
there. But yeah, I don't know. We shall see. But anyway, so shout out to court stenographers. Way to go.
Shout out to Mika. Get it, Mika. Get Mika her own spinoff.
And she's basically like, hey, Mika, like you can leave because I'm gonna say, hey, I know what you're doing. I know that you've got non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. This doesn't have to go on the record. All you have to do is approve the settlement, and it goes nowhere. And that's
Bruh.
it. Wraps it
This
up. They get
this is
It's a $12 million settlement. $3 million goes to the firm. Bada bing, bada boom, or as they say, boom diada.
boom diada, boom
They're
diada,
done.
boom diada, boom diada. But this is like Alicia in her like final form.
Yes.
Like I'm going to literally blackmail you with this information to force you to settle this. It's like, damn, Alicia, damn, like you are hardcore now, Alicia.
Well,
Because
and it was even like evident in the conversations. Carrie's like, okay, like you want to use this. It's just like, I got it. Like,
yeah,
I got it.
yeah,
Like, I
like
know exactly what to do. I know I don't need you boys telling me anything.
yeah,
Like, I'm here.
I'm about to extort this man for $13 million to like, get some information he doesn't want out there. I was like, damn, Alicia. I don't think season one Alicia
No,
could have done this. But Alicia's like,
no.
no, I'm good. I got it. I'm your girl. I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't need you to send like Will in here to do my do dirty work. I got this. It's like, damn, girl, you do got this. You are in there. Get it, girl. So yeah, good for her. I do wonder why Mika was like allowed to leave, because like I feel like if this is like a real court thing, I wouldn't be leaving.
I think there are certain situations where that can happen.
Yeah, I guess.
Or like, because it's a deposition.
Yeah,
like it's probably recorded. Like Mika left the room. You know what I mean? Like that's probably in there. But yeah, we got some more to cover in this episode. So just to talk briefly about what's going on with Eli. Eli got a visit from Frank from the DNC. He's like, hey, I heard about the raid. This is not good. You're gonna need to find a second like chief of staff in case anything like goes down. Like you need a second. You need a buddy. You need a bro.
Basically, it's like, it's funny because Frank is like, yeah. So like, in case you get arrested,
Yeah.
we're gonna need someone to like step in your shoes. It's kind of like wild to like be like, yeah, you get in trouble, you need someone to like take over your stuff. It's almost like find your replacement. Eli.
Yes.
It's like,
yeah. And Eli's like, there are forces in the government that don't want Peter to be governor, and they're using me. And Frank's like, I don't care what it is. It still means that you got to find somebody.
Well, Frank's like, exactly, bro. That's why we need someone to take over for you in case you get arrested. It's like, yeah, right. We're saying the same thing, my guy.
Eli is like, okay, I'm going to sue the Department of Justice for harassment. And Diane's like, is that really what you want to be doing? Is that so? They're waiting in a room, just waiting to deliver this harassment suit to the Department of Justice.
They probably think they're going to meet with LaGuardia, who we met last episode, who was like the face of the Justice Department last time, but
it was not.
There's a dark shadow that enters the doorway.
It was the one and only Wendy Scott Carr.
WSC is back. I was like, oh my God, she's back.
She's back, and she's back. Like she's back with a vengeance. And Eli's like, hey, if you want to be Peter, you use the ballot box. She's like, all I'm here to do is to wipe corruption from government. Like that is all I'm here to do. If you think I'm acting from bias, even though the man told me to validate my parking when I left, there is no truth to that at all. I can't believe that is like really underestimating me.
She's like, how dare you say that I have a vendetta against you and Pete? Like she's doing her like patented Wendy Scott Carr, like even toned, even keeled charm. Like I am just unbothered. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just trying to do what's best for everyone involved. How dare you suggest otherwise? Like, okay, Wendy Scott Carr, we know that you are a silent killer. Yeah. We know. We've seen you in action. My
theory that lawyers are really theater kids still comes into play. Like they love to act it up, just like she's doing here. So Eli, okay, rough day already, right? And then he goes back to the office, campaign office, and is introduced to Jordan Karahalios,
Mhm.
who is also in this world deemed the boy wonder by Rahm Emanuel. Okay, just Chicago does not like Rahm Emanuel. Like
Uh-huh.
whatever the country thinks, like we do not like him. We do not own him. He was the mayor for a while. He did work for Obama. He is who the character of Josh on The West Wing is based after. However, no, thank you. Peace out, Rahm Emanuel. But
Um,
we see that Jordan is a familiar face.
TR Knight, who most people will know as George from Grey's Anatomy. And I think that's probably like it's probably a wrap for TR Knight in terms of like what you would know him from.
He recently showed up on that show, The Flight Attendant, which was on, I forget, but it had Kaylee Cuoco in it and their brother sister. But yes, I wrote in my notes, Eli meets George.
Yeah. And it's funny for me because Jordan is like posited as this like boy wonder, but I maybe it's just the way that like TR Knight's look. His look gives off older to me. I'm like, how is he a boy wonder when I feel like he's not even like 5 years younger than Eli?
Yeah, no, yeah. He's definitely well, and also like TR Knight's demeanor is very
Very old.
oh, yeah.
I
Yeah,
feel like
he's
I
just
feel like
an old soul.
if we're calling him the young boy wonder, that we should have casted somebody that was like seemed a little younger. Like if you had casted Carrie, or sorry, Matt Zuckery in this, I'd have been like, yeah, okay, I can see younger boy wonder vibes from a Matt Zuckery type, but I don't get that from a TR Knight. I get that like it feels like when TR Knight was like 10, he looked like he was like 30. Like, you know, he just I feel like he just gives an older vibe just because just the way of his look, maybe. But I was like, if you're gonna like bring someone in here that's the boy wonder, you should probably cast someone that's a little younger looking at least.
Well, yeah, but also I'm sure at the time it was a big get because George had died. Spoilers for Grey's Anatomy.
Mm.
Um, so like to see him back on the screen was probably like, oh my gosh, big deal. Okay, so then again, just to review Eli's day, right? We had you
Mhm.
have to find a second. Wendy Scott Carr is back for your harassment. Jordan is here, and Frank wants you to work with him, and Jordan wants to learn from his elders, which is just like another like Eli.
Ouch.
Ugh. So Diana, thinking that she's like helping Eli in this situation, is like, I'm gonna go talk to Wendy Scott Carr's campaign manager, Tobin. Like, hey, just FYI, word on the street is the DOJ is looking into old campaigns, old campaign managers for donations, for bribes, basically. And Tobin's like, oh, that's so interesting. Diane leaves. Tobin's on the phone with Wendy Scott Carr. Hey, P.S. by the way, Diane was just here telling me all this stuff, and Wendy Scott Carr says, you have nothing to worry about. We ran a clean campaign. And Tobin's like, yeah, but nothing's 100%. And Wendy Scott Carr is, we ran a clean
Clean
campaign.
campaign.
Right. And she also realizes, like, this is a warning shot from Diane. Like, this has nothing to do with you, Tobin, but also we ran a clean campaign.
It's like that. It's like that meme, right? Of Anakin and Padme, where he's like the meme is like he says, "We ran a clean campaign, right?" Padme looks like, or was it? Who was it's Anakin looks like?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. And he goes, "We ran a clean campaign, right?" It's like Anakin's like, I don't know about that. It's just
We
like,
ran a clean campaign, right?
but it's almost as if she realized, like he was like when he was saying, like, well, I mean, you know, you could misinterpret anything. She's like, she went from asking to telling.
Yes.
Like, no, bro,
Yes.
we ran a clean campaign. If anyone else asks you, we ran a clean campaign. Keep your damn mouth shut. Like he basically tells like, do not talk to that woman anymore. Like that is it. And this was a Diane just like, and when Wendy calls it, she's like, it's a warning shot at me. That's what that was.
Yeah, because basically Diana's saying like, hey, I'm going to bring you into this if Wendy's car comes after Eli, basically.
Like, if you want to push the issue, we'll push the issue, and I'll point the finger right back at you, and have people investigating you as well if you keep this shit up. And when the car's like, oh, bet, all right, cool. Like, see what I do now. See what I do now. Since you did that, like, she literally just like,
and
the bear
big,
of Wendy Scott Carr.
But big time in terms of see what I do now, because Wendy Scott Carr shows up at Lockhart Gardner, and Diane is just like, oh my god, this isn't good, but also why are you here? And Wendy Scott Carr is like, oh, you know, Eli worked out of here for a while, and that means like the whole firm is subject to investigation. So I got my boys here. Basically, they're gonna go look around, and Diane is like, hey, this is completely hypocritical. And I loved this scene because, again, Diane's like, this is completely hypocritical. And what is Scott Carr is like, okay.
Uh-huh. And
like, oh well, we got a warrant, gotta go. And also like, thanks for the warning shot. Like that really helped me out here. Like that was great. So because of this, Diane has to call Eli and say, hey, we can no longer represent you because we are also now involved in this. And Eli is just like, okay, this day sucks. This is the worst day, basically, of his in a while. And then right behind him, there's a little Jordan, Wonder Boy Jordan saying, hey, like, why aren't we doing debate prep? Like, we got to be behind on this. So
he goes to the office. He comes to the
Eli.
office. He goes, "Where's the old man?" It's like, is Eli that much older than you are, Jordan? Come on. And I know he's just doing this to like, poke at Eli, but I was like, oh my gosh, it's so ridiculous.
Yeah. So rough times for Eli Gold in this episode. And also rough times for the firm because early in the episode, we get notice that a mediation has been called. And both Will and Diane, this is in regards to the bankruptcy case, of course. And Will and Diane are like, oh my gosh, what's going on? We got to talk to Clarke because if we're going down, Clarke's going down. So Diane confronts Clarke about this mediation. And Clarke's like, I can't help you because I requested it. And Diane's like, what do you mean you requested it? He's like, yeah, I want you and Will to be removed from your positions because you blocked the merger. You can't merge. You've got credit. You're preventing me from, or you've got debt. You're preventing me from doing my job, basically. So Diane goes tell Will, and there's a scene where Clarke is seen talking to Carrie, and Dan's like, oh my gosh, he's rounding up his troops. He's getting things ready. So brings Carrie into the office. And it's like, hey, what'd you talk about with Clarke? Like, not much. Well, we were wondering if we could talk about you testifying for us.
Yeah. It's like, Carrie, you're not about to like turn on us, are you? It was basically like okay, what are you doing? What are you and your little buddy Clarke talking about? What are you conspiring about? We want to make sure that you're on the right side of things, Carrie. It's almost basically what this was. Like, don't you go turn on us, Carrie. Don't you do it.
So the day has come for mediation, and we are introduced to Empress Seraphine Novi, who is our mediator for this mediation. I love her. I love her like aura. I love everything about her. I love everything how she like introduces herself. But I think she's been around in the TV world for a while, Jason.
Yeah, when Serafina came on the screen, I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's the lady from Law & Order SVU." This is Tamara Tooney, who I don't remember her character's name on SVU, but I remember her actress. Like, I remember the real life name because it's such an interesting name to me. It's always stuck out to me as like Tamara Tooney, interesting name. So she was on Law & Order SVU for years as the medical examiner. Whenever they had a body and they needed to figure out what was going on with it, Tamara Tooney would be here to give them all the deets and all that. She is currently on the I guess I would call it a black soap opera. That's what it's kind of marketed as well. Beyond the Gates, that is on, I'm trying to remember, I think it's on CBS. Is it on CBS or is it on like BET or something like that? I don't remember. It's a black soap opera right now that's going on. So yeah, that's where she is now, and that's like, I was like, oh yeah, it's her, Tamara Tooney, love it.
And she's great. She's definitely like, she's a mediator, not a judge. She's keeping to her role here. Clarke is like, hey, basically like, Mom, they blocked the merger, and he's right.
No, well, not really, because like we moved around some stuff with David Lee, right? Like,
right. Well, David, and also they're saying like, this is not what the orders of the court were. The orders of the court were not to find a merger. They were to help us do this stuff.
Clarke's like, well, I kind of like interpreted that in my own way, and then decided that like a merger would give the debtors like 70% of their monies back. So I feel like that's in the best interest of their creditors. And for those that don't remember, this was like a few episodes ago where Burl Preston like was on the other side of a case, and Clarke decided that this would be a good time to see if Burl wanted to buy the firm.
Yeah, there was a lot of like,
yeah, Clarke was trying to work in secret to see if Burl wanted to merge up. And And Burrow getting so mad that our people beat him, he was about to buy the firm, but Will and Diane kind of like went around him, and Burrow wanted to buy the firm mostly because of the family law arm of it, which is led by David Lee, who does like stellar work. We've heard throughout the whole series. David Lee does great work. So he was the main reason that Burrow wanted to buy the firm. He hates David Lee, but he loves what David Lee does for the firm.
Well, David Lee is the only money making
Right.
entity in this firm at the moment.
Yeah.
So, and he also was one of the biggest creditors of the firm because of what he had put in. So he, like, Will and Diane renegotiated that a little bit, gave him a little bit more, like basically said, hey, you're free. If we get merged, we're free. You're free to go. You don't have to come with the merger or anything like that. And that was enough for David to stick around, which was enough for Burl to be like, oh, I'm not gonna get David. I'm out.
Yep.
See you later.
So they kind of circumvented the merger, but they didn't I guess they didn't directly do something to be like yes, they sabotaged it, but you can't prove that they sabotaged it.
Right.
Diana will say, well, I mean, listen, we were just doing what's in the best interest of our lawyers by giving our lawyers a little more freedom. What David Lee chose to do with that is David Lee's business. But Clarke was so pissed that I remember like when that happened,
he was pissed.
Clarke was pissed and like pissed. And this is kind of his like retribution to be like, all right, I'm gonna get y'all removed and get a mediator to say y'all have to be removed because you're messing with my stuff. You're messing with my monies here. I'm trying to do what's in the best interest by merging the law firms, which all took that out of my hands. So I'm gonna get y'all removed.
Yeah. And Diane's like, but we also have like raised a lot of money in a short amount of time. And it's just like, how much exactly? 20 million. And Clarke's like, there's still 40 million to go. And Will here is like, Will has never really liked Clarke. And so he's saying, like, if we had someone who understood the law, then maybe this would go. And Diane's like, look, our creditors are voting with their pocketbook because apparently they were talking to a private equity firm, Inisical Equity, and they're going to purchase the debt. So this is a vote of confidence. This is, we're doing things still in the interest of the firm to help us get out of debt. Give us some time to like prove this. And Will's like, yeah, we can get you witnesses. We can do all this stuff. And Seraphine's like, how much time do you need? Will's like, a week. She goes, tomorrow. We'll do this tomorrow.
Whenever, like, listen here, people in any TV characters and TV shows, I know you're watching. Whenever someone asks you how much time you need, overshoot it by a lot. Be always like 3 months, because whatever you say, the person in charge is going to cut it down by at least 50%.
Yes, agreed. So the next scene in this mediation, Carrie's on the stand, and Carrie, of course, when you are testifying, you have to state your name and sometimes your title for the record. And so Carrie Agos, 4th year associate, is on the stand.
I mean, I think they've mentioned before that they're kind of like they're counting his years at the state's attorney's office as years served, I guess you want to say.
However, when he says this, Clarke is like, wait, what?
Oh, because you think this was like kind of a payment for Carrie to be like, listen, Carrie, if you testify for us.
Yes, because he went into like the day before this meeting, I'm pretty sure he was a 3rd year associate, and now he's a 4th year associate. So there's this like look, and the question here for Clarke is, or for Carrie is, did you help Clarke study for the bar, basically? It's like, how much time did you spend? And do you feel like you had a choice in the matter? And Carrie's like, no, not really. Like, I didn't feel like this man is in charge of our entire future, basically. So I didn't feel like I had a choice. And Clarke is sitting there for like, he is visibly hurt by this revelation and the fact that he is now a 4th year associate. Clarke is like, okay, well, did you tell them that I offered to pay for your assistance with that? And he's like, no, but like, I couldn't say no to you. Like, I don't know what else to say. Did I ever say I would persecute for you? Like, again, I didn't feel like I could say no. And so he does tell the mediator, like, look, this is just an example of Lockhart Gardner looking to win at all costs. Like, they're not even gonna like take a moment and, be realistic about this. And Clarke gives Carrie a look
A
before he
look.
leaves.
He's so hurt. Like I felt so bad for Clarke in this. It's like, oh my gosh, you're losing your buddy Clarke and Carrie. Because Carrie. I think
Yeah.
Carrie also was like, sorry, man. I gotta do what I gotta do. You know what I mean? And because it's like, and here it's also interesting, like examination before, even kind of before the word was really talking about it, of power dynamics
For
in the
sure.
workplace.
For
Where it's
sure.
like,
And I'm glad
yeah,
it was man on man.
yeah, true. It's like, yeah, you didn't say or imply, but I implied because I know that you control a lot. So that's kind of the natural order of it. When you ask me to do something that's outside of my job duties, I feel like I have no choice but to say yes because you are in charge a lot. And if I know if I say no, whether implicitly or explicitly, you're gonna hold it against me.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have to say yes. So it's like, and I don't think even Clarke really kind of clocked that, he even really understood it. But it's like I thought it was a very like early talk of that before it really became in the zeitgeist of the world to talk about these type of power dynamics and be like, you might think we're buddies, but in real life, you are pretty much my boss. You control
Well, you're in
my
control of my
standing.
future.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I also liked during this, not only did he say Karahalios, fourth year associate, Lockhart Gardner. Wait, did you help? How much time did you spend, Clarke? Well, as a fourth year associate, I don't have a lot of time. And Clarke then even said, as you mentioned, fourth year associates don't have a lot of time. So, like, there was the power dynamic between those two, but also there's this like game, like, they've always been like this though, but like, they will win at all
Yeah.
costs.
And it's like it can be used against and for them. And then because
Yes.
if Clarke says in Will and Darren, like, yeah, that's true, and we're going to do that to get our debt resolved, so
Right.
we should
Right.
still be here. Like, yeah.
Right. So at the end of the mediation sessions or something, Will walks in. He's like, look, we just got a $12 million settlement. And Diane says, our debt has been purchased. This purchase shows confidence. And the mediator's like, yeah, okay, you're not going to be removed. And also, you still have to work with Clarke. Super fun. And Clarke, you cannot look for anyone to buy this firm until after the deadline. If they do not make this deadline of, what was it, 5 weeks, 5 months?
5 weeks. Yep,
5 weeks. So they have 5 weeks to get $40 million. If they do not make this deadline, then you can look for someone to buy the firm. Will and Diane are like, okay, we got out of this, but also this deadline ain't gonna happen. Like, I don't know what to do. Diane's like, we'll talk to the new creditor. And at the end of this episode, Alicia is leaving Minnesota and she's like, okay, bye, Lewis. Like, basically, like, I got this one, right? Like, this one, Team Alicia. And Lewis is like, yeah, I'll be seeing you. And she's like, wait, what? She's like, yeah, I just bought all your debt. Like, I'm your new creditor. And someone's like, oh my gosh, you're going to be working together. That's so great. And Alicia's just like, so just like to be expected. Anytime Lewis Canning loses, he actually wins.
Has a win. Yeah. And I find that fascinating because that does happen every time. Whenever we beat Lewis, he's like, actually, I
Just
kind of,
kidding.
because now I'm kind of your boss. Now you kind of your firm is owing money to me. So
well, and I can just see Clarke cozying up to Canning.
Oh yeah.
And like doing all this stuff. So
really, so it was like, so really, if you think, like, he didn't say this, but it's like, if you think about it, my loss right now is also my gain because I got 13 million of my $60 million back, or 12 million, or whatever it was.
Yes, exactly.
So hey, I still win either way.
So that's where we are. That is the landscape we have going into episode 12 of this season.
Also, how rich is Lewis Canning? Like,
super rich, super
Sheesh.
rich. Yeah.
Yes. So fascinating episode. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really, really good episode with some interesting returns and some interesting twists and turns in this episode of our overall narrative of the season, of this, especially of this debt conversation.
Yeah. I kind of like how that storyline has evolved and gotten us tied into Canning. Yeah. I remember some things that happened off of that storyline. I'm excited to see them like again and see them with like new eyes.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So yeah, that's the episode for this week. Marissa, do you want to tell the good folk out there where they can find you and all of your work on the interwebs?
You can find me at itsmemarissag.com, where I have links to all of the podcasts that I'm on, including this one. You can find me also over on the Whirlwind Podcast Network talking about Pretty Little Liars, one previously on at a time. And my sister and I are exploring the final frontier over on USS Sisterhood as we watch for the first time Star Trek: The Next Generation. Jason,
And you will hear it all someday.
Okay, it's like it takes a lot of time for sound to travel through space. I don't know what your problem, like, I don't know if you know about this, but it takes billions of years. Okay, like if these are transmissions from space, Jason, like I don't know what to tell you. It's gonna take a while.
Okay, all right. As far as where you can find me, you can find me talking about messy relationships, messy reality TV drama over on the Perfect Match podcast, where me and Asia Welch talk about the show Married at First Sight. Season 19 of Married at First Sight is over and done, but we are still dealing with some of the aftermath. There are cast interviews out there. I talked to Patrick from season 19 this week. So if you are into that show and want to know about Patrick's point of view and his messy relationship with Rhonda, his wife, you can hear me talk to Patrick about that. I did that one solo. It's just me and Pat chopping it up. A couple boys just chopping it up. You can find it on the Perfect Match podcast, of course. We also have a Patreon where we talk about older seasons of Married at First Sight. We do some cast interviews from older seasons as well. We do rankings, do a lot of fun stuff centered around the show Married at First Sight. So that's something that you're into, that you watch, or just want to find a new show about relationship messy drama, come check us out over on the Perfect Match podcast on Patreon. And we do have a free feed for Perfect Match as well, talking about the newest season of Married at First Sight. But until next time, stay good.